Hi guys, so I have our little Grogu pen. It's so cute. This is a good one because this is when he was like still small and tiny. I mean, they're all good. I like all the ones I see of Grogu, but when he's a baby, I don't know. He's just so cute. He's just the sweetest little thing. So anyway, I have a great craft for us today with this. Okay, let's get started. So the paper we're using again is the Oh Holy Night paper, which I've shown you guys a few times. And I mean, I've used this for Ahsoka, for Boba Fett, and now for Grogu. I'm not using it for the Mandalorian, but man, I mean, it just has the perfect sand dunes for Star Wars and Tatooine. You know, like it's just so perfect. And so it just has such great textures in it. And so I have even a few little sand dunes left over here that I can do for another, frame if I get more pins. I just, these are the ones that I have so far. So what we're going to be using is let me get out the 12 by 12. I mean, it's just gorgeous paper, but there's a sheet that I'm using specifically. It's a sheet. I showed this sheet in my other videos for Boba Fett, and it has this great sand dune here, but it has all this brown texture in the top. Now, I didn't think I'd be able to use this brown textured paper at the top. I thought, gosh, that's a waste. Actually, I have decided to use it for Grogu. So for Boba Fett, I used this sand dune. I cut it out by hand, but what it left behind was this. When I cut out those pieces by hand, it left behind these long strips of paper that had the reverse side of, so it's just a darker sand dune is how I saw it. And so I had all these sand dunes from the other direction. So I cut out a piece of I'm using this leftover from Boba Fett, and I cut out a piece from, it looks like right here, from the middle section, and I cut out this 4x6 piece from the middle section. I wanted to make sure I had a light part on the top because this is where the sun is. So I needed a little bit of lightness at the top, but I didn't mind that the darkness got covered up by the dunes that we're making. So I'm just making you aware of how to cut your paper. Just be aware of where the colors are when you're cutting your paper. There's not a perfect science to cutting the paper, but you just want to have that spatial awareness so that you're able to know where, what it is that you want. So here's the leftover piece from when I trimmed off. So I'll use this dune piece on something else later. Maybe another Tatooine. I don't know. I'll think of something. Here are our basic layers. This is Pebbled Path. It is not gray. Here is a gray. You see, gray has a lot more blue in it. This is a retired cardstock that we used from a few years ago. I happened to find a sheet of it, and it really matches Grogu very well. So I went ahead and thought I'd use up these last couple sheets I have. So we're just going to lay, this is 5x7. Now my frame, I have my frames in my Amazon storefront. They are a tiny bit shy of 5x7 when I put the cardstock in it. It might not be the case for a picture. I don't know. But for some reason, when I put the cardstock in, sometimes it's just a little too big for the frame. So I've been cutting these just at like a 1/16 of an inch shorter than 5 inches by 7. Okay. But your frame might be different. It depends on what you are using. I just recommend if you're using the frames that I sell in the Amazon, not sell, but I offer in the Amazon storefront, just be aware that you might need to trim it just a tiny bit smaller. All right, and let's just put our layers down. And so most of this darkness is going to get covered up. Now, if I were doing a different craft, I might want all that darkness. I just didn't want it this time. It's just interesting how I'm using the same paper on 3 different crafts, and they're totally different. I feel like the crafts are all a little different. I mean, Boba Fett had that wild sunset. Ahsoka has the glow in the dark and the blue, and then we have what's it called? Then we have Grogu here with, I only have a couple Grogu, so I couldn't get as many of him as I could of Boba Fett and Ahsoka and Mandalorian. I can't wait to do Mandalorian. That one's next. Okay, so this piece is a little bit too big. It's a little too tall. You see how it takes over more than half? It's a little taller than I need it to be. I need it to be a little bit smaller because remember, we have to think of in relation to our Grogu. We have to think of the relationship of our pin to the dune. So that dune is just kind of, and the sun will be here. I think it's just a little too tall. So this piece here is about, it's 4 inches by, oh, a little over 2.5 inches, you know, and it's 4 inches wide. But I need to trim, there's a little bit of white here, so I need to trim a little bit of that. And then we're going to be making a layer. You can pick up the paper trimmer at fabulousstamper.com. I love my paper trimmer. It's super compact and I love it. Love that about it. There's a little bit of the white sand dune that's coming out. So I'm just going to trim back along the line a little bit. Make sure I can cut all that whiteness out because we're going to be putting black behind here and we don't want the white to show or be highlighted by mistake. Right now it's hard to tell. You probably can't even tell from the camera, but it's there, I promise. So we're going to be putting this layer down here in front, but obviously it blends in a little too cleanly. So we're going to be putting a layer of black behind there, but we're also going to be putting a sand dune back here. So I'm going to be making a sand dune, just cutting a similar image. In this case, I don't mind that they kind of mirror each other a little bit. On the other ones, I was careful not to have them mirror each other too much. But in this case, I don't really mind it because Grogu is going down like in the middle of it. So I don't really mind that they're mirroring each other, okay? I had this piece here that I was going to use, but I cut it by mistake. I got a mark on it, so it was a little too. But I could have even had this piece, you know, but I like it like a little valley down in between. I kind of like creating that little valley. And let's see. Yeah, I like creating that little valley down in the middle. What I do need to do though is I need to glue this black piece to this gray piece. And it's going to come off a little bit, but that's okay because a lot of it will be covered. So we need to glue this little scrap. This is 4 inches by maybe what, 1.5, I think, or 1 inch. I think that's 1 inch. And so we're just going to put a little bit of glue right here and we're going to glue down this black piece. And then we're going to trim it. I found that gluing it down first helped. Just glue it down, get it straight, make sure it's lined up along the back. And then I'm just going to come on along from the bottom here and cut like kind of almost an exact mirror of it. Then I'm going to do a similar thing over here on this side. I'm going to glue this down. And I want to leave this little layer on the top so I can cut it. Just with this piece, I had to be a little more careful to make sure it lined up because it was a larger piece of black and it kept wanting to slide out of alignment. And so this helps stabilize this little piece a little bit too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a similar mirror image here. And then I'm actually gonna go down underneath and then come back up. Again, it's not a perfect, you know, cut. You don't want to try and make it perfect. Oh, darn it. I forgot to shade this. I forgot to shade this. I have to shade this black. I totally forgot. So we'll go ahead and do that. Good thing this is a black cardstock underneath here. So before we finish with this, we got to finish this and some shading. So we're going to cut out a 2-inch circle with the Stampin' Up! 2-inch circle punch. You can get that at fabulousstamper.com. And we're going to do some shading. Now I want to show you, I've done shading before, but I got a new pack of brushes. So I wanted to show you. So here's how the brushes, the small brushes come. They're a little more affordable, these small ones, than the larger ones. The larger ones are good. They're just, you know, you only get 2 in a pack, whereas this one you get 3. And depending on what you shade, how much you shade, it's all up to you. But it's just, you know, this is how I have it. You know, so I'm going to be using my old one that's covered in black. The reason why these are good brushes is because they don't leave lint. The brushes, the bristles don't come out. They're washable. I know people that wash them. I personally haven't washed any of mine. I just let the ink just kind of soak into them. But other people wash them and clean them out. I don't. I think just because I figure I'll just have one color for each. I'll have one brush for each color. That's how I do it, because even if I wash out the red, this red will come back when I add other ink, even when you wash it, I feel like. That's my personal opinion. Other people have other opinions. So they come 3 in a pack. You can go to fabulousstamper.com to pick these up. Even though this is Pebble Path paper, and it's gray, it's fine. And actually, if you don't have Pebble Path, paper, you can darken one of the other grays and make it what you want. And so I just happen to have this, and I'm using this scrap up. I really want this top dune to be nice and dark. And luckily this is black, a black layer underneath, and not like white or something. That was my mistake. I hadn't planned to have that layer underneath, but it's okay. The black can't darken the black anymore. And so I just wanted this nice and dark at the top. It just adds dimension and to that top layer. So I'm cleaning off my hands just with an alcohol wipe. It will get any of the black that I have on my fingers, just dry it. It'll just dry it to my skin. It doesn't clean it off. It just dries it to your skin so that it doesn't come off on your projects. Now we'll take our yellow. I'm going to start with orange first. And I have a specific brush now just for orange. And so all I did was I just lightly went from the outside around the edge. And it's already shading it just that quick, because Lemon Lolly is such a light yellow. The orange is already shading that edge. I want to have a nice color of orange, but not an overpowering color of orange. That looks good, because I still want there to be yellow in the middle. That's why I chose Lemon Lolly, because I want the really light yellow in the middle. So that just kind of added a little bit of dimension there. All right, and so then we're going to go ahead and take our red, and we're going to go around the edge here with our red. Oh, darn, I didn't want it to streak like that. I think I can possibly put Grogu's head right there and it'll cover it. So I think that might be good. So we still got our yellow in the middle. And every time you do this shading, it's going to be a little different combination. The key was I really wanted to keep the middle white, not white, yellow. I wanted to keep it a light yellow. This sun is a little more red than the sun I had made previously. And so, but I don't know, it still looks so good. It's reddish orange, you know. I'm gonna add a little more orange around this edge, just a little bit. Just adds a tiny bit more orange, just a little. I didn't want too much red. And so now you just put your blending brushes to the side. I let them dry usually, and that's how I usually handle my shading. Okay, now that we have the shading out of the way, we can start fixing our layers. Before we do that, I do want to, oh, you know what? I just tossed my scrap paper. I want to actually add a little bit of Wink of Stella. I need this black. This black is too matte. So I'm going to take the Wink of Stella, and you always want to test your Wink of Stella off your project before you go to your project. In this case, I don't actually mind too much glitter because I want there to be significant amount of glitter on this black paper. I'm bending it back just a little because I want it to be just on the black layer and not on the gray layer. And I'm just going to brush it down. And I'll do another pass of that in a moment. Doing the same thing here. But I don't want it to get on the dune. I really want it to stay on the black. Okay. This part didn't get any glitter. I just want a lot of glitter on this black layer. And so let's go ahead and let that dry for a second and go back through and give a good pass on this layer. Okay, there we go. All right, and so what Wink of Stella does is it just adds glitter, like a shimmer glitter to the paper when you apply it. You have to be careful because when you squeeze it, sometimes a big blob will come out. So you always want to test it off your paper. I don't know if you can see it through the zoom in, but you always want to test it off your paper because, like, for example, see that this little, I don't know if you can see it. See that like one darker brush? That's just a darker brush. Just a little bit more glitter came out on that swipe. So you just have to be aware that a lot of glitter can come out of this at one given time. So I just try to be real careful. And that it's usually after you squeeze it. And you see how some of it's loaded right there in the pen. This is called a Wink of Stella glitter pen, essentially. It's a glitter brush pen. I love it. It's just the good, I picked it up before it got on the dune. Just want to add extra glitter to here. I don't have a black shimmer paper that has gold. And I think this, for some reason, this just looks so good. And I just really love it. So I'm going to add a little more glitter right here. There we go. Just pulling that paper back just a little bit to make sure I get it underneath and not on the dune. But oh, it's so good. And so it usually just takes a few minutes for it to dry. It's not truly glue, but it definitely adds such a great shimmer. You see? So it makes it almost look like it's a glimmer shimmer paper, like the, you know, but it's black. So it's not a glitter paper, because I tried using the glitter paper, but the glitter paper that we sell, glitter paper, that paper is, I don't think we have a black one, but also it was silver glitter inside. I think this one is an iridescent glitter as opposed to a silver glitter. If you looked at my Maleficent video or my Ursula video, you saw some of that glitter paper, and this is a little bit different. So, all right, so let's go ahead and glue these together. I want to say I want this right here and this right here. Yeah. So I'm going to put it about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Okay, that's it. I'm just guesstimating. It's not going to be a perfect measurement on every craft, is a little bit different, guys. Oops. This is a little too close to, oop, I got it on me. A little too close to the edge. All right. I'm sorry I couldn't get these videos out before May the 4th. I just logistically couldn't film, edit, and create all the crafts. Oh, that's too low. I wanted it higher. I'm glad I remembered before it really got stuck down. I wanted it about a 1/4 inch above. Is that even? Yeah, that's even on each side. Okay. Good thing we're gluing this over that layer. And so, yeah, that's about right. That's good. I think I wanted a little bit higher, but I don't want to push my luck. We're good. All right. And so I didn't even need it to go that far down, but now it's fully down, and that way it's, I have that way it's, at least it's down, you know, so, fully covered is what I mean. At least it's fully covered is what I meant to say. And we're going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of this layer. I loved this one. This one turned out good. All these crafts have turned out so good. It's been really cool making all these Star Wars crafts. I know Star Wars isn't people's favorite thing. I really hope my Star Wars people find me on my sale tomorrow. I know that my crafts will sell eventually, but it would be really cool if I was able to sell out. I don't want to count on it though, because, you know, you don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched, you know? And so I really, really hope I'm able to, you know, take advantage of Star Wars Day and May the 4th and get some good sales. But I also don't want to count my chickens, you know. I'll let you guys know how it goes. Yesterday I had the most amazing sale, and I wasn't even doing anything special. I just happened to have a lot of Winnie the Pooh, and all my Winnie the Pooh stuff sold out so fast. I did not expect that, but it sold quick. All right, cool. So we've got our layers. That's it. And now we're going to be putting our sun here. Look at how cool that sun looks against it. And we also have our sentiment, which makes me laugh so hard. Our sentiment is from the client. The one that he has a German accent. His name is, oh gosh, his name's on the tip of my tongue. His name will come to me. He's a famous director, the guy that plays the client. And he, when he says this, it's just so perfect. It's just so perfect. Oh, there's a little piece of scrap off there. Okay. Oh, it's so good. It's just the most perfect sentiment. I would like to see the baby. So good. So, not Baz Luhrmann is an Australian actor, director. His name's it's Herzog is his last name. And he's a famous director. Herzog is his last name. He's a real famous director. But he's in Star Wars. I've got a little bit of roughness on the edge here, so I'm going to get my sandpaper, just a little bit of roughness. It's like the cutter left a little edge there. So I'm just going to use my sandpaper, my little nail file to pull that off. And then just, you know, there's these, and oh, this explains. So when I put my sample, I put in a frame, and I had these little pieces of little stringy white pieces coming, like getting stuck to the window or the glass, plexiglass. And I wasn't sure where they were coming from. They're coming from the edge of this label because they just came off right here. And so there you go. That'll help get that off. When your dies start to have these little fuzzy edges, you need to maybe use some parchment paper or add, it usually means there's not enough pressure on the plate, and you need to add some parchment paper, which tends to also help make the die cut your stuff a little bit better. It also adds a little thickness to your sandwich of dies, and it'll help make sure you get a cleaner cut on some of your die cutters. They, you know, especially if you use them over and over again, they wear out over time. They don't wear out completely, but sometimes the cuts can be a little rougher. I'm going to go ahead and place the sentiment first. I normally wouldn't, but because the sun is going to go below it, I need to make sure it's placed just right. And then we're going to be putting dimensionals on the back of this. Just a few. And we're going to be putting, this goes in the center of our sky. So it's pretty cool. And see, good thing I had the label there, because if I placed the sun a little higher, it would have been across the label. So I have to get it just right, and our dunes are a little off center. I wanted it to be more of a direct valley, but it's okay. I think that looks about center. That looks good. I'm leaving it. I don't want to mess with it too much. Then now we're going to do our pin. We're like done. Before we put the pin on, I see a lot of those little hairs I was telling you about from the label. I see them all over my little craft here, so let's get them off with a little bit of Post-it note. Just, I don't want them to get on the plexiglass, because then it's really hard to get it off the static electric plexiglass. So now we're going to place our pin. We need to put some dimensionals on the back of our pin. So I'm going to put one here at the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, I think just a couple here on the bottom. I don't want it to be rocking. Okay, and then we need to put 2 at the top here. So I'm going to stack these ones at the top because I need to make sure, hold on. Actually, I might not be able to stack them. On my other craft, I could. But this one, I might be able to stack them over here. Let's try and place it. I'm not going to peel off the backs of it. Let's try and place this. I think I need more dimensionals at the top here, but I'm not sure yet to stabilize it. So let's go ahead and get our Grogu in position. Centering him with the sun. I don't want him too far up. Don't want him too far down. It's like trying to place him just right. And the bottom of the pin is a straight line. So you have to take that into account too. There's a straight line at the bottom of the pin. Let's see. Yeah, see, because see how it like tilts down? We need it to be fully puffed up. So I think I can put 2 dimensionals right here on the side. I don't think I can put one on top of the sun without it messing up the sun. So yeah, I think we'll put 2 right here. And what I mean by 2 is we have to stack 2. And this just helps, one, it helps glue it to the frame, our little artwork, but also it makes sure that this stays 3D and floating at the top. And so, and that looked straight from what I could see. I think it was straight. I hope so. Missing the, and I'm also going to add a little glue dot to the bottom of my, to the base of my pin right here. I just want to make sure this thing stays like nice on my artwork and doesn't come off. So yeah, he looks really good. Yeah, see now he's not leaning forward into the sun. And it's hard for you to tell, but he's now a separate layer above the sun. Okay, and all those are things you take into account when you're crafting. I'm pressing it down hard. I just want to make sure the glue is totally adhered. But as soon as I move it off the little board, it'll the puffiness will come back. So you see that the double dimensionals makes sure that this is separate from the sun and not exactly on the same level. It just adds a little layer, makes it a little taller, just a tiny bit. So cool. I love how these turned out. All right, so now we're gonna, now we'll take our frame. I have these available on my Amazon storefront if you want these particular shadow boxes. I like these ones. They are solid wood. And now they are plexiglass, which makes them a little more affordable. The ones that have glass, I also have to ship these, you know, so if I were to do glass ones, that would be tricky, you know, just one extra tricky layer of trying to keep things from breaking. And so let's go ahead, and these are a little dusty from when they were packaged. I'm not sure why. They were just packaged super dusty. So we've got to take our layer out, and see there's even like a little piece of like cardboard or something on the inside here. So you just want to make sure this is all like, try and dust it out a little, because once the static electricity hits that plexiglass, it just kind of pulls everything in. So just want to try and dust that a little bit if you can. All right, and so we're just peeling off our layers of our plexiglass. And my advice on this is you just put it right in. Let me clear this just in case there was anything on the table. And let me clear this side. Now, if you scratch your plexiglass or if it comes out funny or something, see, I've already got cat hair on it. There we go. You can buy replacement plexiglass. I put those in my Amazon storefront too. I'm just going to take a little Post-it note. I'm going to put my little spacer in. Make sure there's nothing on here before I seal it up. Yep, see, there were a couple little specks of dust here. They're not obvious, but again, you know, you have to remember I'm selling these, so I have to make sure everything looks nice. And we'll go ahead and put this on our foam. I'm adding a little bit of glue to the back here because I want to make sure this is fully attached to that foam. So these are extra large glue dots. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these glue dots, but the Amazon storefront does. And so there we go. And we'll go ahead and put this on the foam. And like I told you, this is a little smaller than 5x7 because I needed to make sure it fits in the frame. And for some reason that this frame, every so often, I will put, I'll go to put the cardstock in, and the 5x7 is just a tiny bit, like a hair, too big. So let's go ahead and press that down nice and firm. I want to make sure that little pin is attached. I do not want it coming loose. I still want it puffed up away from the sun, but I don't want it coming loose. Right? And so let's, oh. Let's pop that down. Little instructions inside. And we'll put our layer on. And I'm going to do the same thing on the front here with the little sticky note just to pick up. Even the sticky note can technically scratch your plexiglass. So you just have to be careful. And see, I'm picking up those little hairs of that label still. So that is our craft, you guys. That is our frame. So cool, right? Sorry, let me get the light off. So cool. And I want to show you the glimmer. I don't know if you can see it in the light, but I'll zoom in. So you see how that black shimmers just a little bit? It just adds the perfect little shimmer and design. So the simplicity of the layout is good. The problem is, you know, you have to hand cut all the dunes and everything. I don't know if you can see, but like, see that extra swipe from the paintbrush, you know? It's like even a hint of a dune even in the paper there, which is cool. I knew it was there and I meant to mention it earlier, but it's pretty cool. I just think they turned out so nice. And so I only had 2 of these, so hopefully they sell tomorrow. They'll sell eventually, because who doesn't love Baby Yoda? Hello, who doesn't love Grogu? So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys had a great May the 4th. I hope you have a great, you know, Revenge of the 6th, you know, and thanks for just watching. I appreciate you, and you have an excellent day.